If there's one thing we've learned at RuggedMade, it's that our customers have incredible stories to tell. So going forward, we're going to try and tell as many of those as possible. And that starts today with the King family from Huntington, West Virginia. Hey guys, Mike with RuggedMade here. We got a special customer profile we're doing today. About to meet the King family. Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey Mike, how are you?
Why don't you guys lead me through the gates and we can talk a little bit about your experience with the RuggedMade splitter and something special that your daughter's been up to with it.
Sounds good.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Like many 11-year-olds, Lyla King wanted a phone. But that conversation with her parents went a little bit different than most of those conversations go. So we're going to get mom's perspective in a little bit. But Paul, I had to start with you. When Lyla first asked for a phone, how does that conversation go within the house? And then also, how does that lead to you guys buying a RuggedMade splitter?
So the phone conversation has been kind of an ongoing, evolving conversation for the last few years. She has some friends at school that have had phones since they were 8, 9, 2 apparently. And we've been pretty against making that move for just all the reasons. I mean, you hear all the horror stories of kids finding themselves in places they shouldn't be online and having access to things that they shouldn't have. So, the conversation kind of started from a place of needing to be very responsible and look at the situation a little more holistically. How is she going to handle that responsibility? And, financially, just realizing that even if you don't have the dangers involved with having access to the internet, you still have a very expensive piece of technology that you're carrying in your pocket at the age of 11. And so that's a big responsibility to ask. But we thought if we kind of set that expectation that if she would work hard for it, that it could just be a life lesson, start her off at 11, understanding that hard work can yield results. A lot of the things that I think are just missing these days, kids just get the handouts and it's just the entitlement, the expectation, because my friends have it, I should get it too. And it was an opportunity for us to teach a lesson. I think that even in my childhood was missed, that we wanted her to not only earn the amount of money that it would take to buy the phone, but we were going to make her earn double the amount and then give her a spending cap of 50% of what she earned. So we told her that if she could earn $2,400 splitting wood, that we would let her spend $1,200 of that on a phone.
So Lyla, most 11-year-old girls are not splitting a lot of wood. That's not something you hear every day. So tell me a little bit more about how this got started.
Well, for the longest time, I really wanted a phone because, obvious reasons. And we were trying to brainstorm a way that I could, make money and also it'd be, a family thing. And he brought up the idea of maybe doing, a log splitting, a little business where we could give people wood in the winter. And then it just became a whole thing, and we got the dump trucks and the old log splitter, and we were doing it with that. And then he said, how about we get a log splitter that can do it more efficiently and a little faster, and we can use the money that we're making to maybe buy it. And then we did that, and it worked really well.
And then why log splitting specifically? What got you there as opposed to some of the more quote unquote traditional ways, whether it be babysitting or something else? What made you land on splitting and selling firewood?
Well, the first part of that brainchild was that we just have so much cleanup to do here, and it's difficult to just make the time to clean up the property when there's so many other things that can be done. And, obviously my main job is not cutting firewood. So to come home from work and get the motivation to go up in the woods and then cut wood. And, we were giving away log length stuff for people to use as firewood, and that worked for a while. And then we ran out of people that wanted to come and pick up. We actually split for 1 year and stacked it on the curb and let people come and pick up their own and pay $75 for whatever size vehicle they came. And I think out of 20 people that came and picked stuff up, maybe 1 or 2 people paid to come and get it. So that was just kind of a failure. So we'd gone through lots of different approaches. And, for her, I think it's important to be dynamic She can be a girly girl, but I want her to also understand the value in hard work. I want her to be as dependent as she can be. And I think exposing her to some of the situations that require her to get her hands dirty and to put forth a little bit of physical effort. It's good for her from a health standpoint. It's good from her, or for her from a work ethic standpoint.
And what would you say you're getting out of this, Lyla? How do you enjoy getting out there, splitting firewood, selling it, and being able to make your own money?
I feel like the whole phone situation, that it was like I would take a lot more care of it because it was my, like, coming out of my account, my money. And I feel like I still would take care of it because if I were to break it, definitely I'd be the one replacing it. And I feel like it's really fun to get out there with your family and do something that you love and also get something out of it for the property. And then every time we go deliver it, we get Reese's sticks. And that's like one of our favorite parts. And he introduced me to that candy on one of our very first times we delivered it. And we've done that ever since. So that's been really fun.
So you guys had a log splitter, but you made the decision you needed to upgrade. Talk me through that process a little bit and what ended up leading you to purchasing our 37-ton model.
So the log splitter we had was, it was just okay. I mean, it was strong enough to split the stuff we needed to split, but mostly we were only able to use it in more of a vertical position because of the size of the rounds that we were trying to split. A lot of them, it just was too labor intensive to get them up onto the unit in a more of a horizontal application. And it was just a slow moving splitter. So we were looking for something that moved faster. In the ads for the RuggedMade unit, it had the 4-way head on it. So obviously running stuff through once versus 3 times to get the same yield was very attractive. So for all the reasons, it just made sense to go to a more efficient unit.
I want to hear from you on this one too, Lyla. Compare the old splitter you had to the RuggedMade.
Sometimes, like, when we would set the log up, like, you couldn't, it could only go so tall, like the blade could only go so tall, so sometimes we'd have to cut it down sideways, and then we could set it up and cut it. So it was a lot harder, and like you said, it was a lot more labor intensive, or to get, like, roll it over to there and stand it up. Sometimes they could be, like, really heavy. But with the, like, thing that lifts it up on the RuggedMade, it is a lot easier to cut the wood, and you don't have to, like, lift it up on the machine.
Before we headed out to the wood pile, we took a walk around the property, a property still scarred from a devastating ice storm in 2021. A storm that in many ways was the start of the King's firewood splitting journey.
We were actually out of town when it happened, but we had a pretty significant ice event that came through, and I don't remember what the actual accumulation was. It was, well over 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch, something like that sat on these trees, and we lost, I don't know, maybe 300, 400 trees on the property in that event. And as you can see here, this is the bottom of a root ball. I'm going to guess that that's probably 14 feet in diameter upward and maybe 20 feet wide. A lot of these trees just came down, root ball and all. This particular one fell toward the house and missed hitting the house by about 6 feet. There were 3 others that fell toward the house that were all in the backyard when we came home. But it's this whole area. There's just trees down everywhere up here still to this day that we're trying to clean up.
So you said you were out of town. What was it like to get that call, first of all? And then also, how much work do you think you estimate you've put in so far versus how much you've got left?
Gosh, that's so hard to say. First of all, the call that's probably about as helpless as I've ever felt, because we're at the end of the street here. All of our neighbors lean on us at some time or another for having equipment, for having saws up here to help out when the road needs cleared. And we were just getting some very desperate calls from neighbors trying to get ambulances in. Just no access to the neighborhood because there were trees down there everywhere. So just getting home to be able to get to the house, we had to park out at the end of the property, walk in, get saws, get the excavator, just shove a path to get in to start the cleanup. And I think the initial cleanup just to get stuff off the road was a solid 1.5 weeks, 2 weeks of just working every day to get everything cleaned back up. We had cleaned all of that whenever we had started to build the property and pretty much had everything cleared out. So it was just not even a starting over, but starting, 500% back from where we started in terms of the amount of cleanup effort. And I guess my guess is we'll be at this for 10 years just to put a dent in what's left to be cleaned up.
But the ability to be able to turn some of this into firewood, I'm guessing has been at least one small positive of this entire cleanup effort.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And, we for a long time, we were dragging stuff down the hill and just putting it on the burn pile. And we would have a 20-foot tall stack of logs that we were just burning just to try to get to a point where we could function normally. And, then we've given a ton of it away. But to turn it into a business that has lasting results for my daughter, it's a pretty cool silver lining to the story.
Before we fire up the splitter, I had to get your perspective on all this, Shan. Lyla asks for the phone. Deep down, I think you probably know it's time, but you want to do it the way that feels right to you guys. So talk me through, from your perspective, how we ended up here.
It's always been important for us to try and instill what the values that we had growing up, as 80s babies. How do you replicate hard work and grit in this environment and in this world, this day and age, as an 11-year-old? And I think choosing this route has translated pretty well to what we're looking to instill in her moving forward.
What was it like for you guys growing up? And what have been some of the challenges of making sure that your daughter, who's obviously growing up in a little bit different situation, still gets some of that grit? Still making sure she needs to earn things, something that I think it's fair to say has gone away in society to a certain extent.
So for me, I grew up with a sports centered background, and I grew up on a farm, and the work that we would do, either cutting wood or putting up hay or whatever it may be, was very applicable to showing up on the football field or the basketball court in terms of physically the results that I would see from that. And when I would apply that same work ethic that I had to employ in a hands-on environment in a sports field, then it was easy for me to see that hard work a lot of times would result in getting a starting position or whatever it may be. And then you just start connecting dots through life that some of that work ethic can translate into job opportunities or whatever it may be, and just people seeing you as dependable and not being afraid to get your hands dirty and do what needs to be done.
I grew up very rural, not a lot of money, grew up fairly poor, and so I've worked since I was 16, but even before that I would take livestock to the fair and sell it for profit, to be able to buy school clothes that I wanted, and to be able to fund that. You get creative. I feel like obviously what we chose to put in front of her, this opportunity, yields a profit, which is obviously a fringe benefit for her, but really it's all about character development and what that looks like, in the years to come, and what it's doing for her, I think, is invaluable.
So logistically, who are you guys selling this firewood to?
So we made a Facebook post, and as you know, anything that's on social media has the potential of really growing legs. And we had been selling to just some people that had come here and picked up firewood in the past, and people that had asked me if we were going to be cutting any this year, because we've done it for camping trips and that sort of thing in the past. And when we were just trying to clear in previous years, we had given away a lot of log length stuff and whatever. But we made a post and shared that this was going to be Lyla's venture. And within about a day and a half of that post being up, we had 13 or 14 dump truck loads ordered, which is, about a cord per load is what we're selling. So friends of friends, acquaintances.
Is it safe to say you could be selling even more if you had more time?
Absolutely. If we decided that this was going to be our main thing, I bet you we could sell 20 dump truck loads a week. I mean,
And that was certainly a catalyst for upgrading the machine, right? It's to be more
Yes.
efficient, to be able to handle all the orders and serve the community a little bit better and more effectively.
yeah.
And we definitely couldn't have done as many dump truck loads as we are doing now with the old splitter. So I think this has actually helped a lot.
How often are you guys out here splitting?
I would say we average 2 to 3 days a week. She's in sports right now. She's playing basketball, but Wednesdays she gets out of school early. So we typically try to work Wednesday afternoons, and then typically on the weekend we'll try to get a few things done, weather permitting. It's kind of a tough time of year to bank on great weather. But I would say we average about 3 days a week.
So you're out here a couple days a week. What would you say you normally produce in one session?
So if we have both trucks here, then we will do 2 cords in a session. At the very least, we'll process 1 cord every time we set up. It seems to be about the amount of time that I can keep her attention span on it.
And how long is a session?
I would say it takes us about an hour
Hour
or
and a
so,
half.
hour and a half to split and load a cord.
Obviously, we've got the machine set up here. Talk me through the assembly line a little bit. Who's doing what job when you guys are at work?
So typically I'm on the dragging the rounds over to the lift. My wife is here on the controls, and then Lyla's up here helping me stack. We will typically have the excavator, which I have retrofitted a skid steer bucket on the front of the excavator to be able to park at the end. And we'll stack into that bucket so that we can measure the amount that we've split. And then I'll turn as we get a full bucket load and dump it into the dump truck. When I'm doing that, Lyla usually will go around and start bringing more rounds over and just keep moving. And then by the time I get back and have the bucket back in place, they're usually set up and ready to keep moving again.
Why don't we see that in action?
Yeah.
See how you guys produce this.
Sure, sounds
Let's
great.
go.
Keep working hard. You're doing a great job. Thank you so much.
All right, so you might notice now we're on FaceTime. We shot a great goodbye by the fire pit. Unfortunately, a little microphone malfunction that I didn't notice till I left West Virginia, but I had to get you guys on camera and thank you for such a great visit. It's amazing seeing what you guys are doing with the machine, seeing what Lyla's been able to build so quickly and get to go not only split with you guys, but go on a drop-off. So it was great. I have no doubt whatever's next after the iPhone. You got the iPhone there, Lyla, the grand prize you got? All right, perfect. I don't know what's next on your list, but no doubt you'll get it. But Paul, Shan, and Lyla, thank you guys so much for your hospitality and letting me see what you guys do with the machine. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, absolutely. We enjoyed it.
Our pleasure, for sure.
All right. Well, I'll let you guys go. I know you got a busy weekend ahead, but I will talk to you soon. And I, again, appreciate everything you guys were able to help out with.
Anytime. Thanks, Mike.
Bye. Bye.